What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a deadline stream for Game Week 3. It is 56 minutes until you have to have your teams locked and loaded. No panic from my side, I don't think. No last minute considerations, but those that are on wildcard, there's obviously that last minute wildcard panic. Of course, you should probably have your team locked in by now. There's not likely to be any more news that's going to affect you in the next 56 minutes. So what is done is done. I'm sure if you've wildcarded, you've got the correct team. You've got the one you should go for. Don't change it too much at this point. Every stream the same song. If I got rid of that song, there would be riots, I tell ya. Am I wearing an Aston Villa t-shirt? I am not. Probably got the camera messed up again. We'll fix that at some point. I need new screens and whatever. Your game week rank is the same as your overall rank. Damn it! Okay, that's my fault. Look, Marco, the legend that is Marco, who probably isn't in the chat now because doing other stuff, sent this to me today, and I amended the overall points because they were slightly different, and then I didn't see the overall game week rank, so my fault. But look, it looks cleaner, I think, without the double bar. So thanks to Marco for sorting that out. There are 3 polls. I only put 3 up. There wasn't too much that came in, to be honest. Son or De Bruyne, even though we all know that's going to be De Bruyne. But Son could absolutely change the game this weekend. King or Dendonker, I think a lot of people are looking at that. I'm benching both. And who are you captain in Game Week 3? It's probably not changed too much from yesterday, but deadline stream. It's an earlier stream as well, so we might get a few different people in watching because of the time differences and stuff when I usually stream, etc. Just to get into it, stream is sponsored by fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. If you've not already checked them out, if you're not a member, I'd highly recommend it. Link is in the description below. I'm just going to quickly play their video, and then we'll get into the normal chat, and I'll show you my team and stuff. So thanks as always for Fantasy Football Scout for sponsoring the stream. Like I said, go and check them out if you haven't already. I'd highly recommend it. If you're wondering which players to pick between, they've got loads of tools in the members area to check that out, basically. Marco, thanks. It is looking great, thanks to you. Apart from, as Physio pointed out, I did mess up and didn't change my game week rank. But whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll get it done for next week. No one cares about my game week rank right now anyway. So yeah, I'm the promo needs to be loud. I can turn it up. I'll turn it up next time. Someone else said that last time. So yeah, this is my team. I'm still going for the 5-4-1. I'm still benching King. I took a look at King's underlying stats. They are okay, only 2 game weeks, but they are pretty bad. Are they likely to get much better against Man City? I don't think so. Of course, it would be a much easier decision if Man City were at home, but I still don't think they're going to do much away. While Bournemouth are at home. I still think Man City are going to dominate that game, going to dominate possession, all the good stuff as they usually do. So I'm playing Zinchenko, benching King. I mean, it could go proper, balls up, to be honest. It could be a complete balls up, but I'm going with it. I think Zinchenko's a good pick still. Lundstrom's looked okay and potential for a clean sheet, although be it is Leicester. So I'm pretty happy with that team, and I think I'm just gonna do it. The only thing I might change is vice captain to Salah, but I mean that's not the biggest decision. I'm expecting Sterling to start, if not, definitely to get some minutes. I did use 3 transfers yet. What do I make of the Sigurdsson and Perez price drops? I mean, it's not too surprising, to be honest. The price changes are extremely volatile at this time of the year. It happens every single year. We seem to be surprised by it, even though it's only going to get worse. It's never going to get better because there's more and more people playing. And call them casuals or whatever. There will be FPL managers that don't see out the season. That we all know people that will start off a few weeks they're bored, but in those few weeks they're busy making transfers and stuff, and that's why it's so volatile. So it's not surprising they've dropped because they've not done anything, especially Sigurdsson, 8 million. You'd expect something from him. Perez, 2 tough fixtures. I don't think many of us can be too surprised he didn't get anything, but obviously it's frustrating. I've got rid of him this week as well, so I can't complain about that too much. Mount was a trap. I hope not. I'm pretty sure I'm going to wildcard in the next few weeks, so let's hope that he does okay. I haven't been working out. Not enough recently, but I have been probably since you last watched the stream, yeah. Nowhere near enough recently. I'm really starting to feel it now as well. Thoughts on Kane captain? I kind of did a video earlier where I talked about captain. I really think Kane, Salah, Sterling, all looking really good this week. I've seen a lot of people have kind of said, if you've got Kane, you have to captain him. I disagree with that because, I've got Sterling. No one's telling me I need to get rid of Salah because I'm not captaining him. But I guess if you've got Kane, you've probably got all three of them. So maybe that's why. If you've only got two, if you've got Salah or Sterling plus Kane, if you think Sterling's a better option, but you still think Kane's going to get enough points for 11 million, then why not? I would liken it to, imagine if Hazard was still in the league and he was 11 million and someone had Salah, Sterling, Hazard. They wouldn't be telling you to sell Hazard if you weren't captaining him. So I don't think Kane's too much different. But obviously, against Newcastle, who've been looking poor so far, it's a good option. Jason, how's it going? Zinchenko, McGinn, or Laporte Cantwell? Form means McGinn to Ceballos in 1 or 2 game weeks. The thing is, Zinchenko, we know Zinchenko is probably going to be a short enough, maybe medium-term pick. So it depends. If you've not wildcarded yet, I'd maybe take the risk on Zinchenko. There's nothing to say that Cantwell won't outscore McGinn, but McGinn's got really good fixtures at the moment, whereas Cantwell's are a bit dodgy. So maybe if you've got a wildcard in hand, Zinchenko and McGinn might be the better option. Did Pochettino hint at a sudden start? I think he just said that he was available and that something about him having a difficult year last year. Obviously, he was just in and out of the team so much because of tournaments and stuff like that. What do you do in the next round? I'll worry about that after 7 o'clock, basically. Wilson will score, possibly. Soyuncu or Lundstrom? I think you... if you're talking about playing this week... excuse me, sorry. That's really nice. Probably should have muted the mic. I'd probably play Lundstrom if that's the choice. If you're talking about who to put in, I would still probably put Lundstrom in ahead of Soyuncu. It depends how often you're going to have to start them, but I wouldn't like to have a wildcard team without Lundstrom because he's just such a good price. I mean, a lot of us have made teams before with a 4 million defender that's not even ever playing. So to have one, I know he's 4.1 now, but is he going up even more? Let me check. I think he's still 4.1. Yeah, 4.1, who is playing and playing in an attacking position. I mean, he's just too good to turn down. Is Origi still a good differential? Nah, I'd say it's... I mean, whether or not it's time to get rid this week or not depends on who you have to play ahead of him. But long term, yeah, he's not a good pick just because he's not going to start week in, week out. It's going to be Firmino, Mane and Salah, as we all know. And therefore, Origi doesn't get a look in. Lundstrom is a joke. How we've been allowed to get a play like that is insane. Yeah, agreed. But, I mean, it'll be quite boring in the end because everyone will have him. I suppose the biggest differential with Lundstrom is when you have the balls or the know-how to play him in the right time. King can score. He absolutely can. Trossard for a 1-week punt. Are they away to Southampton or is it home? It's home, isn't it? I mean, yeah. If you need a 1-week punt, you think I'm going to win the FPL Cup? Not sure about that. I think Trossard. I mean, we're basing it on 1 game week, but I think he looks like a good pick in general. They're 6 million. Shouldn't be expected in the world anyway. So why not give him a go? If you're giving him 1 game week and then wildcarding, then sure, that's the kind of price you need. Moist keen for a punt. I mean, it would be a punt. I mean, we might get early team news. Maybe I'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure people will be keeping an eye on it in the chat. So we might get early team news that he's starting, but I wouldn't want to bring him in just yet if he's not going to start. I mean, I don't know how many games he needs to bet in. He's obviously made a couple of appearances now from the bench, so you'd imagine he's going to be ready to start soon. It could be tonight, but I couldn't say for certain. That's why it's definitely a punt. How risky is Zinchenko? I mean, Pep's kind of said, if I've read it right, that he wants to see Mendy training for a month before he puts him in. He mentioned Cancelo, that he's ready to play, but that he then kind of alluded to the fact that he's probably not going to play until Champions League and stuff kicks in. So basically when they need to rotate a bit more. So I feel like it's in... In fact, I don't actually know when the Champions League... When is the Champions League? When is it usually? It's like end of September, right? I'm not going to be able to find it quickly. Someone will tell me in the chat. I think it's like towards the end of September. So I feel like Zinchenko is an okay pick on wildcard, to be honest. Because when you do need to get rid of him, you could just swap him to like a Man United defender. Or whoever 5.5 million or below is available at that time. Assume if we get anything lineup-wise about Lucas Dean at Kings... Yeah, if I know that Lucas Dean isn't starting, I'll definitely bench him. But I'm pretty sure he's going to play. I feel like if he's fit enough to be on the bench, they'll just play him. But it obviously doesn't always work like that, but that's what I would assume. Martial's your captain this week. Very different, Tim. Could work. Obviously, man's on form, playing a Crystal Palace side that have been looking poor. Also missing, I think, both their first choice centre-backs as well. I think they're both still out. So, yeah, I mean, Martial with the form is in good as anything. I will say, I did put a video out earlier talking about Man United stats, and him and Rashford have not really been shooting that often, especially in the box. So they haven't really got the shots in yet in the first two games, but obviously they were pretty difficult games. So I can see why everyone's brought in Martial. Captain, I mean, 2-2. No reason he won't get another goal. Do I use the better FPL Chrome extension? I don't think so. Are we ignoring Watford assets? I mean, yes, basically I am. I mean, Deeney's injured, so he's a no-go. Defeo could be alright, but I don't think now is the time to bring them in, to be honest. Definitely don't bring in Deeney. Should you captain Lucas Moura? If you want something a bit different, absolutely. Playing Newcastle, poor team. Could start. We don't know for definite, of course. Is it worth investing in Burnley? I mean, Barnes posted underlying stats similar to Pookie, who everyone has jumped on, myself included. Pope obviously looks good too. King or Dendonka? Well, I've actually... Cheers for that, Storm. I've actually got a poll on that. Interestingly, I was thinking about this before I came on. I'm playing King ahead of Dendonka on the bench. But I wonder if I had to put one of them in my starting 11 whether I would still do that. I probably would. I'd probably play King ahead of Dendonka. Just about. But Dendonka has... I mean, underlying stats for the first two games have looked better for Dendonka. And obviously, he is playing quite an advanced enough role in that Wolves team. Kane or Sterling captain? I still think I prefer Sterling, but a lot of people will say Kane. Would I start Dendonka or King? Camille, cheers for that. I just literally answered that. And I've got a poll, so we'll see what the people say as well. You went too soon, Camille. You went too soon. But I appreciate it. I mean, Martial captain, is it too risky? I mean, I don't know. It depends what your version of risky is, I guess. Is he going to start? Yes. Is he in form? Yes. Is it good fixture? Yes. The risk obviously comes that Sterling, Salah and Kane are going to be much higher captains. So if Martial does blank and the other three go nuts, then you're going to be a little bit far behind before you even start. If you think the Wolves keep a clean sheet and that City will too, you should probably have Dendonka first sub. I've thought about it, honestly I have. In my head I've just got that, what if King just gets a lucky penalty and puts it away? Is Son captain too risky? I mean, we don't even know if he's going to start, so I would say that is a little bit risky. Chance of a Greenwood start, nobody has made that right wing role their own in the first two. Yeah, I mean, it could happen, but no one knows, right? So no one... I mean, I'm not going to play him on the chance that he might play. Personally, I mean, you can maybe move him up the bench if you're confident he's going to start, but I'd wait and see what happens first, whether he actually does start and then how well he does, and maybe he gets that right wing spot. I think they might just play James again, but we'll see. Would I wildcard right now? I mean, unless you've given it... cheers for that, by the way, Noise Freak. Unless you've given it a lot of thought already, I would not be... Personally, I would not be wildcarding 41 minutes before the deadline. That is a lot of stress. Too risky to captain Salah over Sterling. If you think Salah... I mean, they're both going to be highly captained. Forget about the Bournemouth-Arsenal fixtures. Salah, you'd imagine, will still be really highly captained. So, it's not a risk if you think that Salah's going to score more points at the end of the day. Aubameyang in for Kane after next week. So a lot of people doing the hokey cokey on premium strikers. Not sure that's something I'd want to keep using transfers on. I mean, let's at least give Kane the Newcastle game and see what he looks like. Obviously, didn't do too well against Man City, but we kind of knew that was going to be the case. I personally wasn't expecting too much. Let's see what he does against Newcastle. Joe, thanks very much for that. Rashford in for King for a hit. May want that money for other moves, or maybe even Kane. If you're thinking you might want that that money and you're not too sure whether to take the hit, then I would just do nothing and rethink again next week. Obviously, if you think Rashford's going to smash it and score 4 more points than King and more going forward, then it's a good move if you don't need the money. Yeah, I mean, there is a chance that Mount gets benched, of course. I mean, 2 games, 90 minutes of time. Be pretty confident on that, but at the same time, he could get benched. He's still young. If that happens, it's annoying, let's be honest. But King comes off the bench, so I won't complain too much about that one. Lucas Dean and Kelly, or Mina and Montoya. You have Lundstrom. Yeah, I quite like Lucas Dean and Kelly, but you don't know how long, I suppose, longer term that Kelly's going to keep his place once the other centre-backs are back. Montoya playing wing-back for Brighton. Mina looking decent enough as centre-back. I think that one's pretty close. I think if you've got your wild card, I'd be tempted just to go for the first 2. Dean and Kelly. But know that Kelly might lose his place at some point. Oh my god, what's going on? New member, thanks very much, Suman. I promise you I will change the logo that you get next to your name once you're a member on the channel. I promise. Josh Ellis, thanks very much as well. Thinking about Mount Pookie. Oh, but realize I can get in McGinn, Rashford. Got to go with Rashford over Pookie. So here's a stat for you. In the first 2 games, Pookie has had 5 times as many shots in the box as Rashford. Rashford's had 2. Now, yes, he's played Chelsea and Wolves, tough games. Pookie's played Liverpool away. Now, Liverpool's defence, yes, people are getting a bit cold feet on, but is it as bad as Chelsea and Wolves? Is it worse than Chelsea or Wolves? No, I don't think so. So Rashford does look good going forward, as in like forward in our FPL teams, and could be the main penalty taker now. And to be honest, I don't think Mount is like a massively better option than McGinn anyway. I don't think there's too much in that one. So you could just go for Rashford if you need to downgrade later. Obviously, Pookie does have tough-ish fixtures, but there are rumours that Kante's going to miss out for Chelsea. So I think that's actually closer than it looks. On paper, you probably go for Rashford, but like I said, he's only had 2 shots in the box. Pookie's had 10. That man likes to shoot. So I wouldn't... I'd hate to sit on the fence. I wouldn't be surprised if Pookie matches him. But at the same time, I think because of the fixtures, you wouldn't be too surprised if Rashford does better over the next few weeks. But he's also cost more as well. So I think McGinn and Rashford is decent. You always say you don't like benching attacking players. I know, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my faith in that okay Man City team. You're right, though. You are right. Omid Zabo, thanks very much. Surely Lundstrom won't get a clean sheet. You never know, though, right? All King needs is a penalty. True. Can they get a penalty against Man City, though? Harry, thanks very much. Pick 2 from Lundstrom, Zuma, King, and then Donker. Ooh. I mean, I'm playing Lundstrom ahead of King, so, I mean, I'd be a hypocrite if I then said to you, play King. And Zuma's away to Pookie. I'd probably play Lundstrom and King, I think. Lundstrom and one of King or Dendoncker, probably King. Doing well, -4, -8 or wildcard. I mean, if it's just a -4, you're okay, I think, without wildcard. Even a -8, probably. The only thing I would say about a -8, if you do the -8 and then you also still feel like you've got to make more transfers, then you could wildcard. But just remember, there's only 36 minutes to the deadline. You don't want to be stressing too much about that. If you're talking about my team, this is a -4. Team is set, yeah, I'm happy. I'm doing it. What do I think of Barnes? I think he's been looking good. Carried on from last season. Carried the form over from last season. Just don't really like the next two fixtures that much. If I had Cantwell, would I start him? I mean, that depends. I guess, let's say it's for scenario's sake, I've got Cantwell instead of Dendoncker. Would I start him ahead of Lundstrom? Probably would. When is my game week wildcard? Like, as in, when am I going to use my wildcard? When am I predicting? Probably, maybe even next week. Do have slight worries that I'm going to want a wildcard next week. My team's going to be similar to what I would have built this week. But it's going to cost a lot more. Otherwise, maybe game week 5. Cantwell and Lundstrom do rotate pretty nicely. Do I ever captain a defender? Look, I captained... what's his name? Shane Duffy last year in a double game week. After saying I never captained defenders. So I'm never going to captain a defender again. Unless Shane Duffy has a really nice double game week, and then I might think about it. Barnes could score against any team. I just think... I mean, Liverpool as well, not looking as good. I do think he's a good option. I don't know about the next two fixtures. I think I just prefer Pookie's next two. But then he plays Man City. Who knows what will happen there. Kane or Rashford captain. I don't know if I would be going as far as captain Man United players this week, personally. I mean, I would captain Kane if it was between those two. Never say never, exactly. Look, Shane Duffy has, I don't know, Newcastle at home and Sheffield United at home in double game week. When no one else has a double game week, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll get Montoya. Maybe it'll be Morpay or Trossard at that point. Triple captain. Have you seen Adam's wildcard? I have not. Shit. I mean, Dendoncker or King. I mean, at the end of the day, if you think Dendoncker is going to do really well, play him ahead. Only you can make the decision at the end of the day. City struggle at Bournemouth. I will say, I do remember, I think it was last season, when City played at Bournemouth, and they had the ball for the entire game. And it was one of the most boring games I've ever watched, because they just couldn't really... They didn't really get too many great chances from what I remember. So they had a lot of the ball, but Bournemouth just stopped them the whole time. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen this year, or this week. Because that would be frustrating, captain and Sterling. Arguably, Salah could be the better option, but I'm going to go with Sterling. I think it's early in the season. Hopefully it'll be a bit more of an open game. Which players are going under the radar? I don't know if any players go under the radar these days, to be honest. At some point, most players are talked about. Yeah, I mean, Son. I won't keep answering the question about Son. I don't know. No one knows if he's going to start. My gut feeling is Lucas Moura going to play? That's the problem. I think they might start Son straight away, but I don't know. I don't know. Seems like a good fixture to bed him in. Easy game, going more attacking. You don't need Sissoko playing a kind of defensive wide role. Just get Son straight in that team. I did say, I don't know if anyone watched the preview earlier, but I did talk about some players I'm on the lookout for who... don't think they count as going under the radar, but we're not hugely talking about them for good reason because they're not starting yet. So Son was one of them, but also Moise Kean and Maupay at Brighton as well. 2 strikers that I definitely want to have a look at when they're starting. There's quite a few strikers that haven't quite done the business yet, but again, only 2 weeks in. Maybe this will be the week. I mean, 3-4-3 could make a comeback. 3-5-2, but without Pookie. No, probably with Pookie. Sheffield United's goalkeeper Henderson. Yeah, I think he's a good pick. Sheffield United have looked okay in defence, and other than not being able to play Man United, that's the only thing. He can't play Man United because he's on loan. McGinn or Van Dijk? People are looking to bench Van Dijk. Who have you got that you're benching Van Dijk? Play McGinn. I'd probably play McGinn, I guess, over a defender, but I'd want to be playing Van Dijk too, to be honest. Will Zinchenko start? I mean, the question to ask yourself is, why would Zinchenko not start this week? When Mendy's back, would I do Zinchenko to Mendy? I mean, if I had 0.5 million spare, yeah. But the thing is, I think I would be a bit put off getting Mendy straight in. I think I'd want to see him start, and that could lose points, of course, but I'd want to see him start a few games without Zinchenko getting the odd game here or there. Heat and penalty save, hopefully not. No Martial, no. Play McGinn or Dendoncker? McGinn for me. No, I'm not quite sure, even if Lucas Dean does start, that he's going to get another clean sheet. I'm not that confident in it, but still got to play him. When Mendy's fit, he's a beast. You're absolutely right, but how often is he fit? Not that often. Van Dijk and Wilson or Wan-Bissaka and Rashford? Probably Wan-Bissaka and Rashford right now. As someone just pointed out, I didn't see who it was, sorry, but Van Dijk's owned by like 50% of the game. If he gets a clean sheet or an attack and return or something, that could really hurt if your defenders don't match him. If Liverpool's defence looks weak in the next few game weeks. I mean, the thing about Liverpool is, and this is why it's going to be funny next week, for those of us that are keeping them, I think you have to expect that they don't keep a clean sheet this week. So if people are keeping them this week, and if they don't do anything getting rid of next week, then I feel like you should just get rid of this week. It's going to be difficult to keep a clean sheet against Arsenal, I think. And then they've got Burnley away and Newcastle at home. So they're the 2 fixtures you really want. So I think it depends, you know, if you're keeping them for the right reasons, like because you hope they can get something versus Arsenal, and then know they've got 2 better fixtures. But if you're hoping for something against Arsenal, if they don't get it, get rid. I'm not sure about that. Oh god, try not to miss all of these. Robert, thanks very much. What do I think? Pope, WP. Why can't I think who WP is? Zinchenko, Shaw, Cantwell, Mane, Sterling, what a midfield, Kane and Pookie. That looks solid. Oh, Walker Peters. Sorry. Yeah, it looks solid. I mean, Walker Peters seems to have the right back spot now. Could I see Ori coming in at some point? Quite possibly. But other than that, the rest of it looks solid. I like that they've gone Shaw over like Maguire and Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. You got 5.9 million in the bank. What mid should you get? I mean, depends what you can do with the money. You could just get Cantwell from Norwich and bank the money, or you could look at someone like McGinn as well. Thanks very much for that. Akko, thanks very much as well. Thoughts on Wesley? I personally would like to see more from him, but the thing is, if you're going to take a bit of a punt on him, this is when they've got the fixtures. But I would like to see a little bit more from him first. Married to the game, decided -4. Perez, Wilson, Robertson to Montoya, De Bruyne, Pookie. Sounds good. That's pretty much what I did. I just got rid of Moura instead of, like you, got rid of Robertson. If you've got another Liverpool defender, great. If you haven't, maybe a little bit risky, but the 3 you're bringing in look decent. Ah, there's the little thing. Did Pep literally say he's ready to play left back? Because if you did, I definitely missed that. If I were to use the wildcard, would you pick Laporte or Zinchenko? I mean, preferably you'd pick Laporte, right? More nailed on. But he also costs $1 million more. I didn't go for Man United players because it was De Bruyne or Martial, and I just went for De Bruyne. That's it, really. Now, oh, hang on a sec. Let me put the team back. In hindsight, I maybe could have downgraded one of my Liverpool defenders to fund that move instead, and down to Wan-Bissaka, and then had Wan-Bissaka and De Bruyne. But I didn't. I rushed it a bit. Got Mount in. Hopefully Mount is the is going to become a legend. I doubt it, but let's hope so. You have 25 minutes before the deadline. If you haven't already, make sure to give the stream a like. Much appreciated. 2,000 of you in here. Let's see how many likes we can get on this stream. We are on 143 so far. We can definitely get that closer to 500 before the end of the stream. And if you haven't already, make sure to click on the little eye in the top right hand corner. That will let you vote on the polls. We've got 3 polls that will go through them close to the end. Could have squeezed Martial. I mean, I could have squeezed Martial, but instead of De Bruyne, it would have had to be. So without a wild card, I wasn't getting both. You got Glenn Murray in. Oof, let's hope he starts for you. Yeah, 24 minutes. I won't do a countdown every minute. I could just sit here counting down the time. The left back is fine. It's just crowd. Everything is going. Cancelo is ready to start. Exactly. That's not saying he's going to start left back. Fake news from Marco. Fake news. That means he's ready to take Kyle Walker's place, of course. He's going to start left back this week now, isn't he? Stuff like him coming in and taking Zinchenko's place, that just makes wildcard decision a lot easier, you know? Should get a little clock at the top for the deadline. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Marco's already told me that my clock that I use for the quick fire is awful. Which is right. So I need to work on that. Ian, thanks very much. Is it worth getting in Mane by dropping De Bruyne or Kane? I mean, Mane's playing Arsenal. Kane, De Bruyne and Kane are great options going forward. I don't think you need to start rushing to get rid of them. See you later, Physio. Personally, that's what I think. I know, people are killing me. So, what I will say is, you know, everyone's kind of telling me that I always say play the attacker over the defender, but Lundstrom is not playing in defence. He's playing in midfield. So arguably he is an attacker, the same as King. Not a striker, but he is an attacker. And even better, he can get clean sheets. So I think you have to forget about how FPL have classified him and remember how he's playing on the pitch. At least that's how I'm justifying it to myself. Ian, I think that's the same question. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, I mean, for me, I would probably keep De Bruyne and Kane. If King gets a hat-trick, I'll hold my hands up. And Didi, Martinho, Cantwell, Ceballos, or... Ceballos, sorry. Or McGinn. So not Ndidi, not Martinho for me. I think Cantwell, if you've got a good reason or a good way to use the rest of the money. Ceballos could be good. I mean, he's got 2 assists off 3 chances created. Probably not sustainable. 2 difficult fixtures. I'd probably go for Cantwell and McGinn, personally. Cantwell if you need the money. McGinn if you want to try and hit those nice fixtures. Lundstrom has scored like 7 goals in his career. I know, one of them was last week. Look, there's a chance he doesn't get the points, but... you know, he is playing an advanced role. He's not playing striker, of course, but he's also not playing in defence. So it's not strictly defender versus striker. Midfielder versus striker. A midfielder that can get clean sheet points as well. Will I get Mapai if he scores tomorrow? Let's see if he plays first, like from the off. If he gets another bench appearance, I don't care if he scores or not. To be honest, I wouldn't be able to justify that if I can't guarantee he's going to play. I mean, there are obviously some of this is chasing points, but as others will tell you, chasing points is also bringing players in form potentially. Who would I captain out? Salah, Sterling, or Kane? I think I've said this already. I would still go Sterling, I think, but my order would probably be Sterling, Kane, Salah, I think. Kane scores a hat-trick on Sunday at 4:30. I'm just going to have hoped that I've got so many points before that. On TV, by the way, if anyone's in Ireland tomorrow, you've got all the channels. Chelsea versus Norwich. Man United is the 3 PM game, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be in all day as well. Real shame we don't have any Man United players. We're still going to enjoy the game anyway, of course. And then Liverpool versus Arsenal. It's just looking good. Perez to McGinn. Or Van Dijk to Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, see, now this is the scenario that I had. And I went for the Perez option. But Perez does have 2 okay fixtures now. And Liverpool potentially look dodgy. If you've got 2 Liverpool defenders, I'd be tempted to make that switch. So I think Wan-Bissaka will get a clean sheet this week. If you don't have 2, I'd maybe keep Van Dijk. Van Dijk or Lunshaw? I'm always going to play the Liverpool defenders. I don't know if they've fallen that far just yet. Oh yeah, I do have Man United players. I always forget about Greenwood. I definitely won't have Greenwood on wildcard because I'll need my 3 Man United players. They're going to cost me like 10 million each. Match of the Day challenge, I'm definitely not doing that. I have the opportunity to watch all the games, so that is what I'll be doing. Thanks very much. Rashford for both Barnes and King, wildcard week. I don't get why you'd have to do it for both of them. I mean, Rashford for King's good. I mean, Rashford for either could be good, but I think if I had to choose one, I'd choose King. Mount's underlying stats are excellent. They're okay from what I remember. From what I remember looking at, I think they were decent enough. I don't know if they were anything to hugely shout about, but he obviously is quite cheap. Thoughts on Sigurdsson? Been unlucky not to have a return of some sort. I didn't see the last Everton game, but I saw the first one, and yeah, he has been unlucky, and people have said the same for the second game. It's one of those situations where people that went for Sigurdsson from the off, it's frustrating because he's not got anything, now he's dropped in price. I think if you look at how he's played and the fixtures that are coming up, I think you probably should keep. But obviously there's definitely a big pull to get in some of the form players instead. But he should get points soon, shouldn't he? He's been playing well enough. And like I said, I didn't see the second game, but people basically said what I said in the first game, that he should have got something. Yeah, price rises and falls have been manic as always, but hopefully no transfers on Monday. Finn, thanks very much. Is it worth starting Lundstram every week to save money? I mean, I personally don't like that too much. It will probably leave you quite inflexible because either you're leaving a lot of money on the bench, but probably what you're trying to do is to save money elsewhere, which means you've got to have another couple of 4 million defenders. And I just, long term, I don't personally like that. Only Perez dislikes your stream so far. Damn that guy. Score prediction for Spurs versus Newcastle. Spurs to win by 2-0. 3-0. 3-0. Fun quiz. One player has a negative bonus point score without checking. Can you guess who he is? Oh my god. We could be here for the next 17 minutes trying to figure that out. So I won't give it too much thought, but it's probably Pogba? Is it Pogba when he missed the penalty? Did they get minus for that? Maybe he didn't do anything before that. Probably not, actually. I don't know. Somebody didn't start for long and came off the bench and did something really bad. Let me know soon, though. How much would Messi cost? 14 million, probably. I haven't used the wildcard, no. De Bruyne or Salah for captain. I'd probably go Salah. I might even switch my vice captain to Salah, to be honest. In fact, I'm going to do that. Going to switch to Salah. I like De Bruyne. I'm not sure Schneidlin, yeah, could be him. Oh, it's even worse when you consider his position. Adams from Saints. Okay, Che Adams. Interesting. See you later, Fozzie. You have just over 15 minutes to finalise your team. Make sure you got the right bench options, the right captain, the right vice captain. What does the vice captain do? So if your captain plays 0 minutes in the game week, then your vice captain becomes your captain, basically. Have I played La Liga Fantasy? No, I have not, no. Yeah, polls before 7. We'll do the polls at 10 to 7. So 5 more minutes and we'll do the polls. How are people on wildcard feeling right now? I bet the stress is getting to you. Have I made the right choice? Should I quickly make that last minute change? If I make that last minute change, what if that player that I've taken out does really well? What if I've thought about taking that player out, but I keep him and he does nothing? The player I wanted to bring in does awful. That is all going through your heads right now. 15 minutes to go. Should you play the wildcard? Look, if anyone's still thinking about playing the wildcard, do it. And then let me know how bad it was in the next stream. Okay, lots of people on wildcard happy. That is the best way, to be honest. At this point, you should have it mostly locked in. If anyone sees any... actually, no. I was going to say if anyone sees early team news, but I'm checking anyway. Tottenham midfielder for week 3 because Ndombele is out. I'm not sure who they'll play. I mean, it's only Newcastle, so I guess they could play something like Winks Sissoko in the 2, and then play Eriksen 10, Moura and Son over side, Lamella and Son over side, Lamella and Moura over side. Who knows? How important is catching price rises early on in the season? I mean, that depends who you ask. I guess you're asking me, though. I try not to let it affect my decisions too much. But as we've seen this week, you can easily get priced out of players pretty quickly. So I made my transfers on Monday, and I saved 0.4 million by doing that. Wilson went down, Perez went down, Pookie went up, and Mount went up. Although, to be fair, I'm not too concerned about that. So I saved 0.4 million. Now, am I going to want Mount long term? No. So that probably didn't really matter. But still, I think it's good to do it sometimes if you're absolutely sure. You can never be sure that someone's not going to get injured, but when there's no games for the rest of the week, I think it's safe-ish. When there's still games to go, then it is risky. Especially if your players have still got games to play. Roberto, thanks very much. Salah out in Sterling. De Bruyne, Kane, Sterling thoughts. I don't get that. Salah out and Sterling in, then you got De Bruyne, Kane, Sterling in brackets. That means who you would have. I mean, if you've already got Kane and De Bruyne, I'd maybe just go about Sterling for this week and keep Salah. I mean, if you think he's going to outscore him long term, then definitely get Sterling in. Why, you should be able to sign in. Look, I'm not going to believe any team news. If anyone has genuine team news, make sure to tweet it to me. I'm not going to believe stuff that's just posted in the chat. That also specifically targets players we're all thinking about, i.e. Lucas Dean, Keane, maybe. Yeah, let's do the polls now. I'll refresh If you haven't clicked on it, it's too late. Unless you do it quickly before it refreshes. It's refreshing as we speak. Do I think VAR makes penalty takers more appealing? Nah, not really, to be honest. Because for every penalty they can give, they could take one away as well. Okay, so we've only got 3 polls, so it won't take long. Son or De Bruyne? So I put this one in, but we all knew it was going to be De Bruyne by a mile. And it was a mile, 88%, only 12% for Son. That could change massively next week if Son starts and does really well. King or Dendoncker? Maybe a lot of people looking at this. 52% saying you should start Dendoncker or play him ahead of King. 48% saying King. So Dendonker's winning out with the crowd. And who are you captaining for Game Week 3? Sterling wins 68%. Slightly higher, I think, than last night for Kane, 19%. Salah only 5%. De Bruyne only 2%. And 5% on someone else. Probably the likes of Mane and players like that. So that is all the polls. If you haven't already, make sure to hit a like on the stream. We're on 376, 2,300 people watching. Let's see if we can get to 500 before the stream ends. I only need another 124. Look how good my maths is. And if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe. Trying to hit 50k subs, which we should do by the end of the season. Even better if we do it soon, just because we've just passed 49,000 now. So plenty more content to come every week. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. So much fake team news in the chat. What's my aim for overall rank? Numero uno. It's not maths, it's arithmetic. Okay. Well, I've done maths. I think you mean 50k by the end of the game week. I mean, that would be nice. If I won FPL, would I retire? Nah, I don't think so. I do have a friend, though, that became 8th after being number 1 for like 17 weeks. And he hasn't played again until this season when Villa got back into the... when they got back into the Premier League. You covered all my drafts. Thing is, sometimes I don't know what transfer to make midweek, so I post my team, then I change my mind by the end of the week. So you can't always copy, you know. There won't always be a deadline stream. Plus, you copy him. That must be so boring. And you're not going to win if you copy me. 8 minutes. Well, 8 minutes according to my watch, but my clock, sorry, on the computer. But I always think that's a bit fast. It might be like more like 9 or 10 minutes. Yeah, Scott, I saw that. I think I saw that tweet, that message. I'm just checking Twitter to see if there's anything. Just seeing if there's any news. What will Mark Southerns do? Probably bought Kane in. No, I don't know actually. He was the pioneer for the cheap strikers up front. I'm gonna be top 5 this year. Why not? Nah, it hasn't been any team news. There probably isn't many people looking for team news for this match either, to be honest. Even though Lucas Dean is quite highly owned. I'm out of water. Oh no, I've got a drop over there. Cheers, Anto. You should use the wildcard to celebrate 50k subs. Nah. Gets used when it needs to be used. 461 likes. Just need 39 more. Let's get the stream to 500 before the deadline. No early team news. If there is, we'll talk about it for sure. I mean, we're really mostly worrying about Lucas Dean, I guess. Unless there's an unexpected, like, McGinn or Grealish injury or something like that. There isn't, by the way. I'm just saying, just in case there was. What points would I accept this week right now? So I think 20 points for Sterling. Maybe 10 for De Bruyne, 30. Maybe 10 for Salah, 40. A goal for Mount and Pookie, another 10 between them. 10 or 12. 52. Then another 20-ish points from my defence. 70. I'll take 70 right now. Why not? 70 is a decent score most weeks. Mostly because I'm not hugely confident about Robertson or Van Dijk points. So straight away it falls to the other three. Lundstrom's playing Vardy. Zinchenko's away from home. Dean's away from home. We'll go with 70. 71. Why not? Opinion on Laporte over Van Dijk. I think there is just because of the fixtures more than anything, there's every chance that Laporte matches him or outscores him over the next kind of 3, 4, 5 weeks. For Man City, it will probably look better for clean sheets than Liverpool. He does have some goal threat, as much as Van Dijk, maybe not, but he definitely does. So, I think Laporte actually is a solid choice over Van Dijk. I get why it'd be difficult to do right now because Van Dijk's so highly owned. We're basing getting rid of Liverpool defence on 2 game weeks. That could all change this week. But I think if we go on the data we got and how the teams have looked, I think Liverpool... I'm not expecting Liverpool to struggle in defence for the whole season, so they will pull it back. But Man City have basically started how they ended last season, and they're just going to keep going and going, aren't they? Delph is not fit to play. Is that right? We already knew that, I think. Come on, Team News. Sadibi. Lucas Dean is starting. Let's get some. Let's get some links tweeted to me. Some official links. Apparently, Gabarmin, the central defensive midfielder for Everton, has not travelled. That could hurt defensively. We'll see. Still don't know if that's confirmed yet. The clicking is my mouse, I'm afraid. Don't know if there's a good way around that. I'll try and click less. What I need is a touchscreen. Need to be able to Minority Report. Sigurdsson replace or not? I think I'd like to keep him. Oh, we're well over 500 likes. Thanks very much. 578. FPL would be so much better if we couldn't see teams selected by. I actually agree. I don't know if it would actually be that much better in in reality, but I would like that change. Yeah, because then sometimes it would feel like everyone owns them, and actually they don't, or vice versa. The opposite could happen too. Okay, what I'm doing right now is what I recommend you guys to do. Double check your captains, double check your bench order, double check his players. So I've got Salah I've refreshed as well, haven't I? Points to my team. Sterling captain, Salah vice captain, King ahead of Dendonker on the bench, but Lundstrom playing. When are Leicester playing? They are playing at 3 o'clock, aren't they? So I've got players in every game, at every time, apart from no, every time. But for 4:30 on Sunday, I've only got Pope, which ain't great. Birmingham Mail have just published an 11 containing Moise Kean. Doesn't say if it's just a prediction. Doesn't say if it's a prediction or real. Interesting. He's definitely one of those that I'm kind of not waiting to use my wildcard for, but will definitely be a consideration when I wildcard. Although, of course, Everton's great games are near the start, so don't want to bring him in for his set of bad games. Okay, Roberto, thanks very much. Pope, Van Dijk, Robbo, Walker, Dean, Martial, De Bruyne, Sterling, Captain, Mount, Perez, Kane. You did the mini wildcard. Barkley, Salah, and Fraser. Salah out, so you've done it already. Well, fair enough then. I mean, if you're happy with that, if you're happy that Sterling captain is the best this week, then fair play. That's the way to go. Team's looking solid though. Still no team news. I'm gonna have to just pull up. I'm gonna pull up the proper accounts, so we're ready for the reaction. I wouldn't do this in advance, of course. I'm actually be prepared. I have Salah vice captain, yeah, sorry. I've got 2 screens so that I don't have to constantly mess with this one. That also annoys me this year. I'm sure last year you could just keep clicking my team and it would refresh. But it doesn't refresh now unless you click onto one of the other tabs. I feel like that was definitely a thing. Yeah, that's how my team looks right now. A mini wildcard is what a lot of people call... So if you've got 2 free transfers and you make 3, so -4, a lot of people will say that's like a mini wildcard. You can make a nice enough change to your team, but it's only cost you 4 points. Sorry. You're stressing so much about your wildcard picks. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You've done it. There's not too much you can worry about. Okay. Just seeing if teams are in yet. It says 7 o'clock on my my computer, but I think it's slightly fast. So I'm just waiting. Let's have a look at wildcard reveals from Adam. Lucas Dean, Dunk, Laporte, Wan-Bissaka, De Bruyne, Mane, Martial, Sterling. Yeah, I think that's kind of going to be standardish kind of team. Oh, 6:57. Oh, how boring. Got to fill another 2 or 3 minutes of time now. Maybe I'll just sit here for 3 minutes. What's it called when you make 4 transfers with 2 free? An extra costly mini wildcard. The deadline is here. It's nearly here. Yeah, I feel I kind of say this a lot, like pre-season, but at this point now, it's a bit like taking your exams. There's no point in cramming right now. You can't get any more info you don't already have, apart from maybe slightly quicker team sheets. Go with what your gut is telling you. Go with what you've researched, etc., etc. Damn, people still sending me rank my teams like now on Twitter. No way you can get to that before the deadline. You got Keane over Pookie. That is brave. I think it keeps telling me Everton have tweeted and they haven't. 1 minute. Okay. So my watch, sorry, my phone and my computer for some reason are 2 minutes quick. You did miss the polls. We've done them already, just so that we weren't doing them when everyone was waiting for the deadline right at the end. Assume Son does well and looks must own. Who gets the chop? I'll tell you what gets the chop, not who. My wild card gets the chop probably, because I want to be able to fit in Sterling, Mane, De Bruyne, Son, and Martial. That would look sick. It's Ken, not Keane. No, I don't think that is correct. I've seen it. Let's not get into this again. Okay, we must have team sheets now. 7:02, so that must be 7. Start at 11. That's for the under 23s. Still not in. You're a man ahead of the times. Yeah, good luck everyone. Hopefully you do really well. Not quite as good as me, of course. Lots of people saying Lucas Dean, but I don't see any news. The first tweet I saw was Pickford starts. Who was that? As if everyone... Yeah, Doug. I love Doug. Pickford starts. There you go, apparently. Ah, here we go. Okay, Lucas Dean starts. Job done. So does Pickford, as he said. Calvert-Lewin leads the line, so Keane has not started again. And that is why it's too risky to have gone for him. Richarlison's in Bernard. So Iwobi hasn't started yet either. Schneiderlin, Gomez. I mean, no... is it Gabamin? I keep forgetting how it's pronounced. But yeah, look, hopefully they can get something against Villa. It's pretty much as we would hope for. So Lucas Dean starting is good. Yeah, Keane on the bench, but I mean, that's what he's been the whole time. The Gilbert started for Villa, right back. Don't think many people were expecting that. So El Mohammedi's on the bench. McGinn, Grealish, Jota, Trezeguet, Wesley. So that's looking pretty... El Ghazi looked good in the first game. So he's benched too. But Gilbert starting is decent. I think a lot of people were hoping he would do really well. But he didn't start the first 2 games. So again, interesting. If he can keep his place, maybe he's one to bring in. But maybe him and Helma Hamady will get rotated quite a bit. All right, that is it, people. I'm going to leave the stream there. If you haven't already, give it a like on the way out. We're over 600. It'd be nice to get close to 1,000. Why not? The team sheets are pretty as expected. Gilbert a right back, maybe not. I'm sure it's not Gilbert either. It's Gilbert. But whatever. Next stream will be Sunday because the game's finished. There's no Monday game. So Sunday will be the next stream. Content should be normal next week, even though it's pretty much normal this week. Good luck this weekend. I might be on Instagram a bit if you want to follow me on there. It's just Let's Talk FPL, I think. Might be on Instagram a bit over the weekend. Otherwise, I will catch you on Sunday. Thanks very much for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out Patreon links and Fantasy Football Scout links in the description below as well. And yeah, have a good weekend.